Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I'm just trying to get the right kind of lighting here. Whoops, sorry. I hope all of you are able to get out in nature somewhere, and Starlight is no longer home anymore. She has been traveling, and yesterday I went on this hiking trail with a female with her son, and I this is my third time making this video because I couldn't find the trail and I just seen her and she brought me on this trail again. So here I am at the very beginning of the trail. It's so beautiful. So I wanted to bring you along with me. And before I do, I just want to reach out to all of you and make sure you're taking good care of yourself and loving yourself the way God really wants us to love ourselves unconditionally, that is. So it does take a long time to really understand the levels of what self-love is all about. So, and that is letting go of what other people think, letting go of caring what people think and what they think you should do or shouldn't do. But I am here as a teacher, as a influencer to help you. It's all up to you whether you do something or don't. But I'm only here to teach, not to tell you what you should do, but you have to decide on your own. God gave us all a free will to decide on our own what we think is right or wrong in our life. So you be the judge. And anyway, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you could find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman. Whoops, I don't want to accidentally push the button. Also, you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, and it's absolutely free, totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Starlight used to think subscribing to YouTube channels costs money, and it doesn't. It's absolutely free. All you got to do is push the button and it's subscribed. Also, don't forget to leave a message down below, beep, beep, beep. And you can also share my videos with anyone, your family, your friends, your cat, your dog, an owl? Who? I don't know who. So I've been seeing owls lately. It's kind of funny. They're in the strangest places. Not real owls though. So besides owls is also, don't forget to leave a message down below, beep, beep, beep. And you can follow me on Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that's Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. So here we go again. This is my third time trying to figure out where this trail was, but here we go. And so anyway, like I said, I try to find this trail, and this is the third time, but it's so beautiful because it's a curvy trail. You don't have to worry about dirt or mud or anything like that, so it's all paved. And I am out in the state of Maryland, so this is like my second day out here in Maryland. So here we go for a beautiful hike out here. And like I was mentioning earlier is, there's about, let me see, the thing that I was talking about earlier is to reach out to you, because this video can help everyone out there that's going through this, and I believe we all are, depending on what you're doing, what you're about, what you're working on. And we all kind of get habits as we go through our life, and some of those habits could be bad habits or good habits, so that is what this is about, is the bad habits, or things that we kind of repeat over and over again. And it could be something that you've worked on when you were a kid, and these are things that you might have not have known when you were a kid that was not the greatest thing for you as far as health goes, or you might have been brought up in who knows what kind of family. So there's different types of families all over around the world, and a lot of times they only do what they were taught, and that's all they know. And whether it's right or wrong, they might have not have known, or maybe they did know some of the things were not that great. Where there's some kids, they're brought up in families where they weren't eating the healthiest food, where they they were eating a lot of junk food, a lot of potato chips and cookies and crackers and things that are loaded with salt and sugar or fat, where, as a kid, you don't really have a whole lot of choice, as far as goes as what to eat. And sometimes, families are poor when they grow up, so they don't have a lot of food to select from. And it is so backwards the way that this society is, where you go in the store and what is it that they always put right when you walk in? It's always, I look at this all the time. I'm a Walmart shopper, like a super Walmart where they actually have vegetables and fruit. And, I just walked in actually I did today, but yesterday I went in one, my first time in a while now, and I felt so energized just standing in where they have the vegetables and fruit. I couldn't believe how great I felt. I was like, I haven't been getting any free food in a while now, and I am a vegan. I have a vegan diet, even though I'm a little off my diet right now in my situation. But, I got to make sure I take good care of myself. But when I went into the vegetable and fruit aisle, the whole area with all the beautiful colors, I just felt so energized being in that area. Like I didn't even want to leave, the greens, the reds, the orange, yellows and all that. I felt so energized. But a lot of times when you walk in a store, they always put junk food, cookies, crackers, sweets, stuff loaded with salt, and then the prices they have backwards. The stuff that's not healthy for you is cheap. And then the stuff that's really good for you, like we'll say like vegetables or fruit, like the organic stuff, if I said that right. Sometimes I say that word wrong. But that stuff was grown a certain way, so it doesn't have a lot of junk that our fruit and vegetables, the regular fruit and vegetables grown into. So, it's a healthier for you, but of course it's more expensive to eat that kind of food than the stuff that we, like have at the supermarket, where Starlight doesn't like the apples in the grocery store, because have you ever bought an apple where, it lasts for months? You're like, that apple should be dead. Die. Will you just die? But it doesn't, because they add all this junk into their, when they grow these things, whatever they plant their apples, how they make them to grow, and the trees, what they help the apples to grow and produce fruit, so they put a lot of horrible stuff in our food. That's why it's, it doesn't seem to ever die. So I'd rather go to a farm and get apples right there, where they're not adding all that stuff. And when you buy those apples, then you go home, and if you don't eat them up, they start getting bad. And that's the kind of food I'd rather have, because apples should not last forever. There's a certain time that they should die and start rotting, so you don't want to eat stuff that just like, wow, hey, this is pretty good, honey, like I looked in the refrigerator and 10 years later that apple is still good. I'm being funny. Imagine that. I mean, really, do you really want to eat that apple? What is in that apple? But a lot of times we are not eating the right kind of food, and Starlight did change her eating habits around quite a bit. And it took me a year to do it. And you don't want to go cold turkey if you want to go vegan. But I started off with beef and then went all the way through the other kind of meat and then the poultry. So anyway, now I'm eating healthier than I was before, and I feel better of how I'm eating now. And I feel, like I'm really good, because I know that I'm not eating all that stuff. And not that my diet's perfect right now, but it's something that, I have worked on and I keep on working on. And that's how life is. We have to keep on kind of maintaining those things when you're trying to work on different things in your life, like your diet. Maybe you're trying to work on changing your diet around, and, maybe there's certain foods that you eat and you get tired and you're like, why do I get tired after every time I eat this meal? I'm tired. I had a guy not too long ago. He's like, yeah, he goes, man, I'm always tired. And I'm like, and I saw how he was eating. I'm like, wow, he ate, he overate, and then he had a lot of cake, and he just kept on wanting more cake and pie because it was free. And even though he was a homeless man, he was not without food. And I just try to let him know, hey, that sugar that you're eating, that's why you're feeling drained. And he thought, hey, if I could still eat a lot. And he was so young, he was so young, and he thought that he could eat this food and just go to the gym and work it off, but he's not realizing, that this is going to catch up to him later on. So you really want to work on your diet as when you're young. That way then, your body will thank you later on, and you won't have to pay a bunch of hospital bills. The other topic, a lot of times that people deal with in life is not only the food that you eat, but what do you drink? Do you drink water, or do you have habits of, there's some people, they drink coffee all the time or soda all the time, and I used to drink, my best soda was ginger ale. That was my favorite. And then it would have gone to Pepsi. But is that good for you? All the sodas or all the fruit juice that you think is good for you. I'm just going to show you really quick. This is why I like this trail. As you go through this trail, they have all these little cabins. I'm going to see if I can zoom this in here. But look at that. There's Starlight's little house. She's just going to... I love these little things, but aren't they really cute? And it's right off the trail where I am. This is why I wanted to make this video on this trail, because it is so beautiful. You can see that those little cabins there as you walk through. But or like not only just soda and or energy drinks. I used to drink those, not a lot of them, but I used to like the taste of some of them to get me some more energy. But that, they found out that was not really the best for people. And or alcohol, where you're drinking too much alcohol, or maybe you're addicted to, I have known people throughout my life where, they had to have every single day at least a 6-pack of beer every day. I can't imagine how much money that was by the time the end of the month goes. So if you got one of those kind of, there's times that's what happens. You do things more than 3 times, and bam, now you got a habit. And now every day you're like, wow, I really enjoyed that. And the next day, and now, it can end up being a problem down the road. So you really, there's times that, like when New Year's comes, which really is in March, not in January, but with the New Year's, a lot of people, they say, hey, yeah, this year I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And Starlight is still working on her stuff that she said she's going to do I have not given up on the things. I am still working on it. Sometimes there's obstacles in our way. Sometimes we got to learn different things as we're going through it, but don't give up on those things. And that's pretty much what this kind of video is about, is sometimes we have things that we are working on. Say, and a lot of people go through this, say you want to give up cigarette smoking. And I just heard a lady the other day, she's like, yeah, it makes you feel good that you can tell other people, hey, I'm giving up cigarettes. I am going to give up cigarettes. I am done. They're expensive. I know they're not good for me. I'm always hearing people judge me and tell me you ought to give it up, and now I'm ready. I'm actually ready to give it up. I don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore. So today is my first day. I'm not smoking cigarettes. And then they go on their second. And then before you know it, they're doing really good, and they're being honest. They're not lying. Now they're a month clean from smoking cigarettes. And then some stressful event happens in their life, and bam, what happened? They found themselves going out and buying a pack of cigarettes. And that does happen. It does happen a lot where, sometimes things like that happen in our life where, the God tests us out all the time. Like, oh yeah, you quit, huh? How about now? Did you quit now? And now you feel bad because now, you went and told everyone that you gave something up, but you don't want to let anybody know that you kind of goofed up a little bit because you went out and bought that pack of cigarettes. Now you got a pack of cigarettes that cost a lot of money. And now what are you going to do with that pack of cigarettes? You don't want to give it away because it costs money, but you don't want anybody to know that you actually kind of went out and bought that pack because you told everybody that you gave it up. And now you feel guilty. But then now you kind of feel like you've got to smoke this pack of cigarettes. And Starlight has gone through similar stuff like that, not so much with cigarettes. When I decided to stop smoking cigarettes, it was cold turkey. Bam, I never touched another cigarette again. And I am so grateful, and I'm so really, I'm so thankful and happy that I was able to do that when I did it, because their prices went up. And really, I wasn't smoking the whole pack of cigarettes. Half of that pack was mine, and it took me days to smoke it, but half the other pack, everybody was bumming off my cigarettes. So that's why I really gave it up, because I couldn't afford the pack anymore when it went up to $5, because I had a certain brand, Marlboro's menthol Marlboro's. Starlight liked the menthol cigarettes at the time, but I really didn't even like it. It was a big stress thing that I had. When I got nervous, I found myself smoking cigarettes. When I got upset, I was smoking cigarettes. When I didn't feel comfortable around other people, I was smoking cigarettes. But then when I felt comfortable and when I felt happy, I wasn't smoking. So that is what happens to a lot of people. They get uncomfortable and they get a habit of grabbing that cigarette or even beer. So if you are working on something, and this does happen, and God's gonna test you. God's gonna, like, you might have goofed up and like feel bad that you are smoking cigarettes again. But you know what? Don't beat yourself up. You can always ask God for help. Say, universe, God, please help me to to let go of this bad habit. I know it's not good for me. I know it's not healthy for me, but I really want to let it go. I can't even afford buying them anymore. I'm tired of people bumming cigarettes off, because anytime that these days, if you got a pack of cigarettes and people know that you got that pack of cigarettes, even people that don't even know you, if they're on the street and they just, I've seen this happen, and I actually had lots of people asking me for cigarettes, and I don't even smoke. So, don't beat yourself up if you find yourself going back to things that is not good for you, whether it's cigarettes or beer or food or whatever. There's all kinds of habits. Look at how beautiful this bark is. I'm like, Starlight's good. This looks like artwork. I would really like to paint this, but look at this bark. Starlight notices weird. Look at that. Isn't that so? See, you don't see trees like this in New York. But that looks like kind of like a crocodile, his back. Isn't that beautiful how Starlight just like picks things out like this. But yeah. So don't be hard on yourself, like if you don't quite work on your goal like you were planning on working on it, or something that you're trying to kick, like either, alcohol or cigarettes or eating habits. Just remember the next day, it's a new day. You know what? All right. I wasn't able to make this happen. I gotta figure out how they did this now, is to understand that you can always do it the next day. And see, now this is where I gotta figure out how they did this. I don't think we went around this trail. This is so weird. This is the trail. I'm on the right trail, so maybe we did go around it. So I'm just going to go around it. So don't beat yourself up because you ate that cookie that you weren't supposed to eat. Just to realize that the next day, you could start all over. And the worst thing you could do is beat yourself up over something, when, you didn't really follow through on something. So I love you so much, and I really want you to really don't beat yourself up over not being able to give up on eating that cookie or that donut. Hang on, I gotta turn around. It is so important that don't give up, because a lot of people do. They realize that they goofed up and they did not follow through like they wanted to on whatever thing that they're trying to give up on. The best thing to do is really to, if you were not able to follow through on whatever habit it is that you have, is try to keep that to yourself, because some people will really say some nasty things to you and make you feel bad, or even make jokes to you about, that you didn't follow through on what your plan is. So if you want to really give up on something, the best thing to do is to not tell anybody and wait until you actually able to make it happen, like after you gave up like cigarettes or gave up smoking like for a long period of time. And because people are going to say stuff to you and discourage you and to like put doubt in your mind space, and they might not even believe in you, because they hear a lot of people out in the world, yeah, I'm going to give up smoking cigarettes. And you almost can hear them laugh as you're saying the statement, as the words come out of your mouth. So when you really want to work on letting go of something, especially when it comes to food or, like any alcohol or cigarettes, or, like giving up soda, because when Starlight went on her vegan diet, wow, did I ever hear it. Everyone had something, they were shocked, they were really shocked. They're like, why you want to do that, because they love their food. And I wasn't telling them that they had to go vegan. It just, hey, I can't eat that anymore. They would try to serve me different food, and at first they couldn't feed me any meat because I wasn't eating meat. Later on, they're like, wow, you can't even eat this or that either, so they all had something to say at one degree or another, like, or they would say, why don't you just at least eat this? They acted like I wasn't going to make it, that I was going to die if I, wasn't on the same diet as they were. So you really want to know, you really got to believe in yourself, and, to understand that we all are not doing the same thing in this world. Aha, there's my crows. Oh, oh. So, just because one person might be working on their eating habits, like not eating meat. Say you meet somebody and they're like, yeah, I'm not eating meat anymore. Hey, all we can do is inspire them and say, hey, good for you. Whether we agree to it or not, as long as they're not doing anything to ruin their health or to do something that's hurtful, of course, if you got loved ones that are going to do something that's not good for them, like to start drinking too much alcohol, you're really going to want to, those people there, when you see that they're putting themselves at risk, like smoking cigarettes, if you love those people, let them know, hey, I love you, but, because being that voice and saying something to them lets them know that you love them. And just, you can always encourage people not to do those things, but it's really going to be up to them whether they do it or not. But, being a voice to those people really can help them out. So, it would be, to me, it's best to say something in that area to kind of discourage them from doing that. I'm sorry it got really dark here. But it would be better to discourage somebody doing something like that, like if you see that they're going in the wrong direction, to discourage them in that way, than to discourage somebody that wants to eat healthier, you know? If somebody wants to eat healthier, say, hey, go for it. Hey, I hope you do good, you know? But we don't need to, you know, discourage people who really want to actually eat healthier. And if somebody wants to give up smoking cigarettes, we ought to encourage them. Hey, good for you. And most people do, but not everyone does. You know, not everyone's out there to support you when you're giving up something. And if you have tried to give up something and you are unsuccessful, the universe is there. The universe wants to help you out through those tough times when you feel like caving into those things that you gave up. But don't give up. Ask the universe for strength, you know, and willpower to say no to those urges that you're going to have. And God's going to test you in so many ways. You know, you might be good on your own about not doing certain things. And you'll be like, hey, look at me, God, I'm not doing that thing. And then somebody could come along and they could say, hey, you know, they could come in and go at your house and bring a 6-pack of beer, and you were doing good the whole time. And then, bam, there you are, you know. They're like, hey, you know, they're your buddy. And before you know it, you're drinking a can of beer or even cigarettes, you know, where it is best to, you know, avoid people that are doing those things that you gave up. That way you're not, you know, gonna tease yourself about that and be like, oh, you know, I used to drink, or I used to smoke, or I used to do this and that, and now, you know, there it is in my face. So it is so important, especially when you are trying to give something up, is to, you know, realize that it does take time, but it's best to really not tell anybody that you're giving it up. Just do it in secret and ask God, the universe, to help you, to give you strength that you can actually give that thing up because you know it's not serving you anymore. And just work on it until you know, hey, if you did not drink beer for a whole year, or even 5 months, or even 6 months, you know, pat yourself on the back. You know, sometimes we know who we can share things with, so it is good to have some people, but you got to really know who to pick as far as opening up and, you know, saying things like that, as far as, you know, giving up something. So just to let you know that you can't trust everyone out there to open up and say that you're giving up something, because a lot of people might discourage you from even doing that. So you want to really be strong, and don't beat yourself up if you goof up and you find yourself doing it again. It's just that you can start all over, and that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes we do. We got to start all over and try it again, you know? There's so many things, like when on my diet, for my eating food and stuff like that, I did really good with beef, you know? Fish was probably the hardest thing for me to give up. But, you know, after a while in time, I gave up fish. And then eggs. Eggs was hard for the longest time because I ate them almost all the time. And after a while, I finally gave up my eggs. And it took time, you know. So right now, my diet for my vegan is not perfect. But every time I you know, like now I'm like, okay, don't eat, you know, like there's times I eat white bread. Or I've gone out and had cheese, you know, where that's not really a part of my diet anymore. But you don't want to beat yourself up, even when, you know, you're not able to do what you want to do. And like I said in the beginning, don't tell everybody about it unless you really know that they're going to support you when you're doing it. So anyway, I am sorry I have to split this video up because I made a boo-boo. I got so excited about those birds out here. I don't know what kind of birds those are, but they're huge. So, whoops, sorry, I got this light here. So anyway, I really hope you get a lot of help from this video. Don't give up on letting go of those things that no longer serve you. And it doesn't have to be food or drinks or alcohol or cigarettes. It also could be people. You might have to let go of people, and you love the person and you're like, oh, but I love them. We always have fun together, but they're not good for me. And there's times we got to let them go. And it might take time. You're like, oh man, I know I'm not supposed to hang out. Every time I hang out with this person, they cause me to, get into bad habits that I used to do, and I don't do those any longer. So don't beat yourself up. That's the whole point of this message. And, to be wise who you tell when you're giving things up, because it could come back in your face where you're like, oh, I was supposed to give that up and now I did it again, and now you feel bad, and then you beat yourself up, and then, and then some people like, hey, I thought you gave that up. So really be careful who you tell and open up to. Really know the people that you're going to open up your world up to like that, when you admit to things and you say, oh, I goofed up. I ended up having a cigarette the other day and I really thought I gave it up. I really want to give it up. So don't quit. Don't give up on letting go of things that no longer serve you. Ask for help. Ask the universe, or they also have support groups out there in your community somewhere. People with alcohol, or, there's people with sex addictions. Yes, sex addiction or gambling addictions, all kinds of stuff. There's groups for all of that. Get out there and find out really how other people are getting through and what they're doing. And you really do. You need that support. And even eating food that is not good for you. It's addictive, to eat like, potato chips. Starlight loved potato chips and dip when she watched a movie. Oh my, so I had to let go of that. I realized the dip wasn't good, or the chips or whatever. So don't be hard on yourself, and, just take it one day at a time, and you can always start all over. The next day you can, hey, you know what? I'm going to do it again. But really be selective on who you do tell. I love you so much. Look at my hat. It's sparkly. So anyway, I do love you. This is Starlight. You can give this video a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, don't forget, you can leave a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. And you can share my videos to anyone you want. Absolutely free. Plus, you can also follow me on Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that's Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. So anyway, I love all of you. Don't beat yourself up because you weren't able to quit that, or, stop eating that cookie. You could start all over. Don't tell anybody. Just work on yourself and don't give up. And love yourself. Don't beat yourself up over those things. And anyway, this Starlight, love you. This Starlight, love, light, and peace.